I did a video from my car yesterday and somebody says, how can you be driving and doing a video? As people can see, the video yesterday was in a car that's stationary, parked up, and it's just to record kind of what I'm reflecting on today. And yesterday, I was studying that book, I Am Sending You Prophets, by that I've spoken about in your channel. And I took the introduction is by Father Lauré Laurentin. It's a 2-page introduction on prophecy, and I put it through Google LM, which spewed out a video which I put on my channel because it gave a good explanation, a resume on what Father Laurentin is speaking about as regards prophecy. But my God, the capacity of artificial intelligence is shocking, guys. And I work in industry, I work in business. I've done for 25 years. And the revolution that's coming now, the technological revolution that's coming now, is I would say 50 times faster than previous revolutions, right? So if you look back in the 18th century, or you're moving from a society that is centered on horsepower, right? Horses were used for everything. And all of a sudden we moved to engine power. And so that transition took a few decades. It didn't happen overnight. But now the most valued company on this planet, right? NVIDIA, which is kind of the powerhouse of artificial intelligence and chip manufacturing and so forth. That came pretty fast. And we see, and I've just noticed both in industry and on my channel in general, the extremely fast development of artificial intelligence over the past 5 years, really, since COVID. The video yesterday that is AI produced, and you can go and listen to it. I mean, you would struggle to realize that there's no human being speaking in that video. I mean, that is completely AI, and I mean the content is humanly driven, but it's presented in an artificial way. And I don't think the West, America, Europe, Canada, Australia, the developed countries realize the revolution that is coming to our society with this new technology. The children that we have in our primary schools today, the children entering secondary schools today, won't be able to follow our careers. Take, for example, a pharmacist. Doctor writes his prescription. Why do we need pharmacists? I can put in a person's weight, age, conditions, dosage, put on all of the statistics. My patient's a male, he's 50 years old, he has these underlying conditions, he suffers from this ailment, here's his medical history, and I'm recommending, a dose of whatever medication. And, the doctor's surgery will say, well, he's that dose we don't recommend because he's already on such and such a medication, or you gave it to him in his last visit, blah blah blah. So you see artificial intelligence playing in there. And if he does need a medication, why do we need pharmacists? We can just automatically dispense that at the doctor. Have a practice with automatic medication dispensal at a doctor's location. You don't need somebody to go and pick a tablet off a shelf and to check with you and to verify your name. That can all be done by artificial intelligence. And you might think that this is pie in the sky, guys, but that's just one example that could easily be automated. Automation is the big thing in business. People know why I'm speaking about this. And there are certain levels of automation that make sense. But now we're entering a different era of automation. I mean, in some countries, they've introduced driverless cars. They already exist. you call an Uber. Today we're there wondering, oh, when am I going to get a taxi? And there's no drivers and stuff like that. When I was working in Singapore after COVID, a lot of taxi drivers in Singapore at the time had given up their license because there was a massive drop in demand for taxis in Singapore. And so, when I went back there after COVID, I was saying, oh God, this is strange. Previously in Singapore, I could easily get a taxi. Now I can't get a taxi. Well, you'd struggle to get a taxi. You'd be waiting an hour to get a taxi in some places. You might think, well, it's such a small city, just use public transport. Well, there are places in Singapore where public transport isn't as easy to get as you think, and people know what I'm speaking about. But you won't have to worry in the future. We won't have to worry about drivers giving up or not having the taxi will just arrive and it'll bring us to where we need to go. It can sense. The technology is so developed. It can scan and sense and know your location and be integrated with other sensors and cameras and so forth, so as to get you to where you need to go without injuring anybody. I could go on, but as I said, the development in AI technology, what is developing now, is developing at a speed that is unreal. It is unreal. Kids going into college today, the course they are studying might already and is already obsolete. Coders. 10 years ago, you go into college and you'd be studying a specific coding and so forth that was needed for engineering or needed for other professions. Already obsolete. Data analysts, analyzing data and data flows and forecasting is also becoming nearly obsolete. As I said, the list of careers, architecture, for example. Architecture. I want a house with 5 bedrooms, with this, with that, and I want this plan to comply with the latest legislation in this place, and to so you put in all of the factors that you need for an architectural plan, all the legislation that you need to comply with that plan, and it will spew out in an hour a design for your house that maybe a human being might just flick through it just to kind of gauge something. It can spew out costs of materials. You know what I mean? Just think about these white-collar jobs. These office-based jobs that people are entering into. Our medical industry, our pharmaceutical industry, our law. How different things managed from law. You think we can bypass this, Robert? We can avoid it. It's like in the 1800s, people said, well, look, my horses will survive this revolution. No, your horses will not survive that industrial revolution. And a lot of industries will not survive this revolution. And our politicians, our leaders, our church leaders, although it's not really the churches, but so many don't see what's coming. They have no idea what's coming down the line, especially Ireland. Ireland might in a way be protected because a lot of these industries, these AI industries, these companies that are leveraging AI are in Ireland, but there's going to be a massive shift in employment. We see it supermarkets, checkout. People saying, I want to go to a some people have railed against checkouts and automated checkouts. The day is fast coming when you walk into a supermarket and you put your bottle of washing up liquid or your bar of butter or your bottle of milk into a trolley or into a bag or into your pocket, and you walk towards the checkout and it will say you owe 20 euros. You know, with RFID technology and video technology and so forth, it will go in, it will see, monitor what you're buying, and you go towards the check and you say, no, well, people will rebel against this and no, well, you see the likes of Ryanair now that has completely gone cashless, paperless, completely. A whole industry, one of the largest airlines in Europe, completely cashless, completely paperless. And it's interesting to see this great technological revolution that is kicking off at this moment in time. But I think a lot of people are asleep as regards their understanding of what AI will ultimately do. I mean, there's thousands, literally thousands of jobs that will be made obsolete. Simple as. I mean, last time I was doing Walk the Cross in Belfast, I rang for a taxi, and you get through to this automated AI service. Hi, I'm here to take your taxi. And it's completely autumn. Where are you leaving to? Where are you going? Your taxi will be there. And I didn't even get a chance to speak to a human being. I said, well, I was ringing up to inquire about the price of a taxi, right? Was trying to get a taxi with kind of a minivan to see if the taxi company had a taxi for 6. But it didn't allow me to actually interact with a human being saying, look, do you happen to have a taxi with 6 people so that I can order? It just was, where you come, this whole automation thing. I mean, you have tons of apps that do this as well now, Ubers and so forth. But again, just sit back and look at the industries that are going to be impacted. And maybe some people will saying when new jobs will open up. They probably will. My daughter is studying philosophy, and they say philosophy and that type of career teaching, that whole area could boom in the future. Maybe it will. Maybe teaching Latin and Greek and philosophy and well-being could be, religion. One thing that won't be obsolete will be the priest or the nuns or religious life. And maybe we'll see a boom as people see this empty society, this soulless society, this beast that we are feeding. So this AI beast, it is being fed. I mean, guys, our stock market, the AI bubble is unreal. The amount of money being pumped into AI, not just Nvidia, but other companies harnessing this, the Amazons, the Googles, and the Facebooks, and etc., etc. It is unreal, and it's going to be interesting times. I mean, there was a time in the past you had a lot of data on an Excel file. It could have taken you hours to trawl through it, pivot through it, and present it. And today, what took you 3 or 4 hours a few years ago is done in 5 minutes. Literally. Tell me in this data who are the main whatever factors in here. Tell me this. Tell me that. I mean, it'll spew out everything you need to know that's in that data swamp, that data lake. And again, it's moving extremely fast. It's moving faster than people realize. And are we prepared for this? I don't think we are. I don't think humanity, especially in America, Canada, West, Europe, the developing Asia, Middle East, first, second world countries, I don't think they are prepared for what they have let free. I don't think so. I mean, you think about why learn the skills we needed to learn in previous generations, they are redundant today. A language, for example, learning another language. I mean, you have in the latest edition of Apple, the new AirPods, and where you can have a very, very fluid conversation with somebody else in another language without actually having to learn that language. Although I do think learning a language will probably still exist, but the language barriers, translators, translation and translators. I mean, that's a skill that's fast becoming redundant. Translation of texts is becoming extremely accurate. But it's fascinating, this whole thing. But anyway, I just thought I'd share my thoughts, and my delivery guy is here that I've been waiting for. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.